Hey everyone, this is Wingspan TT, and if you're watching, you know what time it is. It's time for MTG DOTP 2013 with me, Wingspan TT. That's right, Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013. We're here in the City of Guilds. I'm pretty sure this is Ravnica in the background. If you guys remember that block, we see the little Ravnicans down there. Hello, they're like Sims. And we're gonna be looking at Pack Instinct today. The green deck. The green deck here. I don't know. This is one of the newer decks. So I don't know what this background is supposed to be. But let's look at Pack Instinct. Creature size, ginormous, as you might expect from the green decks in Duels of the Planeswalkers. We're talking fatties and not blunts. We're just going into a deck speed, fairly slow. Deck flexibility, fairly slow. Card synergy right in the middle. So at least this is Wizard's opinion. I haven't unlocked this. Actually, the demo version is a little weird where every time you start the client, you're starting fresh. You don't have any unlocks. So I can't actually unlock these decks. Every time you unlock them, when I restart it, it relocks them. So I can show you the cards and I can unlock it in a future game. But let's just get in here and check out what's in Pack Instinct. We see fairly large amount of creatures, lower number total spells. We see a very little camel-like mana curve here, so a couple cheap spells and a couple expensive spells. Let's get into it. Fog, we all know what Fog does. I don't know, I never get why this kind of card is in these decks. I'm probably going to ditch it. It's not bad, but in most situations, your combat damage is going to be what matters. So using Fog can save your creatures in some circumstances, but for the most part, this is going to be a wasted card, in my opinion. Prey Upon. Now, this is very important, alright? So look at this. 1 green for sorcery. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So basically, they're going to do combat damage. They're going to do direct damage to one another. So this is absolutely great for a green deck. How many are in here? 2, 3... 3 Prey Upons. There's going to be essentially three direct removal spells in green. So you can have your 8/8 guy, deal damage to one of their 2/2 creatures that's really pesky on the other side of the board. So this is green removal. This is very powerful. You'll definitely want to keep this in your deck. Next up, Primal Bellow. This guy's really tall. At first, I just thought there's some naked dude. He's like the Coney guy. And instead of walking through LA, he's just like walking through a field of broccoli. But it's actually some giant dude walking through the forest, and you can't see his naughty bits down there, but rest you assured, he's hung like a tree, I guess in this case. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each forest you control. This is pretty good. Basically, after turn 3, this is better than a Giant Growth, so certainly not a bad card, especially in a deck where you're going to have creatures that cost 8 mana or so. Emerald Medallion, we've seen the medallions now in every deck. 2 mana, green spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So this is a little better for this deck than the other decks, I think, because we saw that mana curve. So you're going to start being able to drop your fat, big creatures out a turn early, 2 turns early if you get both emeralds out. Garruk's Companion, as you know, great card from 2013. 2 green for 3/2 trample. You can't beat that. And someone had said in one of my post, oh, every card has a purpose. Every card has a purpose. No, that's not true. Because if you have a deck where you can get 2 green for 3/2 trample, and then there's other cards that are 2 green for 2/2 and no abilities, guess what? That card doesn't have a purpose. The purpose is to line your birdcage. Okay? Garruk's Companion, great card. Lightning Greaves, 2 for an artifact. Equipped creature has Shroud and Haste. Equip 0. This is going to be a game changer. You can give every creature in your deck Shroud, which basically prevents your opponents from, targeting it, essentially, and Haste. And because it's equipped 0, every single time you play a creature, you can give it Haste. So essentially, if this is on the board, all your creatures have Haste, and the turn they're played, they can't be targeted. So very, very cool. Equip cost is 0. So we're going to be seeing a lot of red players, a lot of white players trying to get rid of this artifact with their artifact removal. Nature's Lore. Search your library for a forest card. Alright, so it's just some basic mana ramping, getting more forests in play for those. Makes sense. Blanchwood Armor. Everyone used to call it Branchwood Armor, but no, it's Blanchwood because I guess I don't even see where is the armor. Is this it? The single strap on his knee is the armor. It's kind of stupid. But Parente, I've never really liked your art, so there you go. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. Not bad for 3, but easily removed. Go either way on it. 3 for 2/2. Sacrifice Brindleboar, you gain 4 life. See this? This is a creature that's almost pointless. You're paying 3 mana for 2/2 creature when you could be paying 2 mana for your other 3/2 creature. Ooh, you can sack it to gain life. This isn't about gaining life. This is about stomping your opponent's into the ground. So the fact that there's 3 of those in deck. See, look, this is so on turn 3, which do you think is scarier for your opponent? Brindleboar, okay, or Leatherback Baloth? Turn 3, 4, 5. Okay, that is a beast. Or turn 4, 3/3 can't be targeted, hexproof by your opponents. So this is what I'm talking about. There are creatures that don't really have a use, and yes, you can gain life, but it's pointless. This isn't a life gain deck. Alright, this is interesting. Timbermaw Larva. So I assume there's a bigger Timbermaw that's much bigger. 4 mana for 2/2. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each forest you control. Kind of good, kind of bad, since you need at least 4 lands to play it, although I guess you could cheat it out in other ways with the medallions. That means the turn after you play it, you could have 5 lands in play, and you could immediately be attacking for 7 the turn after. So on turn 5, you could be attacking for 7, or possibly as early as turn 4, or maybe even turn 3. So just a consideration. Maybe, okay, not turn 3, but turn 5, you could be... Turn 4 or 5, you could be swinging for a lot of damage. Especially if you cast... You know, you could play this guy... Alright, you have 4 forests in play. The next turn you play your 5th forest, alright? And then you go fetch out 2 forests with other things. So you can have 7 forests in play and attack for 9. That's pretty big. Windheart Invoker, 4 for 4/3. You've seen this before. Pay 8 mana. So this is kind of an end game buffer, but this allows you to turn all of your creatures into beastly things later in the game. Not a bad card. You know, not great probably in constructed formats, but for this, for Duels of Planeswalkers, very good. Bountiful Harvest. Pointless. Don't put this in your deck. You're wasting your deck to put 5 mana life gain. If you really need life that badly, this is not very good. I mean, I guess end game maybe you're going to get 10 life. 10 life. Great. Or you can play creatures that can block infinitely, prevent way more than 10 damage. Just saying. Garruk's Pack Leader, this is the last one. I do like this. So this creates a lot of card advantage. 5 for 4/4. Not great, but whenever you play a creature with power 3 or greater, you draw a card. So essentially, if you get this guy on the board, whenever you drop big creatures, you're going to be getting free cards, which is always good in Magic the Gathering. Here we go. Not bad again. 5 for 4/4. Destroys target artifact enchantment. Now, we've seen already that every deck in this game has a decent number of artifacts enchantments so far. So this could be worth keeping in. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed to stay in, but something you should consider, especially if the metagame starts moving that way. 5 for 4/4. Vigilance to reach. I guess this is the only thing in your deck so far that can block flyer, so maybe you want to keep it in. We have a couple of those. Primal Crux. This is what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for 6 green, what do you get? Trample with Chroma. So its power and toughness are equal to the number of green mana symbols and the mana cost of permanents you control. So just off the bat, because it's got 6 mana symbols and its casting cost, it's going to be 6/6 when you play it. And every other card on the board. You got 10 creatures on the board that cost 2 green each. Well, this thing is going to be a 26/26 with Trample. That is nasty for 6 mana. Terra Stomper, 6 for an 8/8. Can't be countered. Trample. This could be good against blue. Howl of the Night Pack, also not bad. 7 to put 2 green, 2/2 green wolf creature into play for each forest you control. So at the very least, you're getting 7. And again, you could cheat this out with emeralds and get fewer. But the point is, for a single spell to give you 7 2/2 creatures is pretty nasty, and you could definitely get more than that. You could, this could be a board-winning move. Now, the one thing that is absent here is there's nothing like Overrun. There's no single game-winning card, which could ultimately make this deck a little less relevant. Let's look at the unlocks. Again, this is not all the unlocks, but some of them. Colony Hydra, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 mana symbols! So for 8, you got an 8/8 with 8 heads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just want to make sure the artist didn't mess up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's 8 little wizards there. We're summoning him into being. Colony Hydra costs 1 less to cast for each green creature you control. So, in theory, let's say on turn 4, you have 3 creatures in play, and you have any kind of mana ramping, you could play this guy in turn 4 for 5 mana, essentially. Trample. Not bad. Definitely keep this in the deck. Rampaging Ballast, 6 for 6/6 Trample. Landfall, whenever you play a land, or whenever land comes into play under your control, you get a 4/4 beast. So 6 for 6/6 Trample, not bad. And using your land abilities, you can essentially just drop free creatures into play. That's card advantage. I love it. Primordial Hydra. X into green. Primordial Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on. So if you pay 10, it's going to be an 8/8. Okay. Beginning of your upkeep, double The number of +1/+1 counters on Primordial Hydra. So I don't know if you guys ever learned this in math class, but that is called scary ass multiplication. This is geometric growth. Very, very scary. Actually, this isn't geometric. I think this is exponential growth here. You can have 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, then your opponent's dead, really, after that. Primordial Hydra has Trample, as long as it has 10 or more counters on it. So you could theoretically play this on turn 3 for 1/1. Then turn 4, it's 2/2. Then turn 5, it's 4/4. Then turn 6, it's 8/8. It's already pretty scary. So no matter when you play this, this is going to be a scary card. Okay? And then Epic Proportion, 6 Flash, enchant creature, it gets +5/+5 trample. Flash means you can play it like an instant. This is a very cool combat trick. Screw people up, plus it's permanent, so it stays in play. And Primal Crux, just one more of these Primal Crux. That's about it. So what do I think about this deck? I think it is better than the 2013 Apex Predators. It doesn't have as much Shroud, but we have seen some Shroud in the deck as well as the Lightning Greaves that can give any creature Shroud. We have a lot of card generation, a lot of card advantage generation in this deck, which is something different from what Green has had in the past. So that's a little bit exciting, but I still want to see what the rest of the unlocks are. Everyone, I'm Wingspan TT from TopTierTactics.com. This has been Pack Instinct. I hope you come back to my channel. I hope you come to TopTierTactics.com for more information on Duels of Planeswalkers 2013.